You may have seen these videos of these 1v1 drills before, but one thing we've never seen is a broken down analysis of each 1v1 from an attacker's perspective, but also a defender's perspective. We're going to cover plenty of 1v1s from Modric, Tchouameni, Asensio, Valverde, and Hazard. If you're a pro or an aspiring baller, could genuinely be game-changing for you. And if you're just a spectator, this video will help you appreciate just how good these top pros are. So let's get right into it, starting with Modric. For Modric, we have 3 attacks. Here's the first one, and he makes it look effortless. The first thing that helps Modric here is his change of tempo, which you may often hear me quote this as going from 0 to 100, or the other way around, going from 100 to 0. So initially, his angle of approach is here. Notice he's not running straight down the line, as this only keeps one option open. Now, after his second touch, we see he pushes off aggressively with a much bigger stride, mimicking a sprint down the line, before then putting on the brakes. Now, a body feint left, with the defender becoming more and more planted. Still paused here. This looks like he's going to burst inside, pushing off this foot. But instead, another body feint, which now turns the defender square, and a sharp diagonally forwards touch to avoid the outstretched leg. The ball was here, this side of the line, and it ended up here. If he knocks it straight, the defender gets it. Now, look at the defender's position from the start. Stood side on, showing Modric here. As we play it slowly, just follow the defender how he eventually ends up planted square. It's really important you understand what Modric done to the defender here. This fake burst down the line, which makes the defender slightly move this way. Now he puts on the brakes, making the defender relax again, going from 100 to 0. Into an immediate double body feint, the second one baiting against the defender's momentum, who this whole time has been travelling this way, trying to keep Modric going here, resulting in this. Now the composure, he manoeuvres around the ball, touches it to help get right around the ball as he doesn't have time, with a really subtle curl into the bottom corner, which he hits more like a pass, just the tiniest bit off centre to help spin it back around. Now his second 1v1. Eventually getting trapped in the corner, the last place you want to be, because the defender doesn't mind you getting off a shot from here, as his body position is blocking off and across the keeper finish, and the keeper will stand near post, making it nearly impossible to score. So as we see, Modric drives more down this way to keep the defender coming here. A sharp body feint inside, and then pokes the ball horizontally to avoid the outstretched leg. The defender has time to plant, spin, and try and poke the ball away. Now, as Modric runs across the pitch, we see the defender curving his run to box Modric in, which he does well. It eventually gets to the point where Modric has nothing to bait or leverage, and he simply touches it out of his feet and shoots for an easy save. And keep this whole clip in mind as we watch number 3. So we see a cut inside just like clip number 2. Why did the last one work easier than the second one? If we notice on the last one, he does this step over, which mimics a touch inside, off balancing the defender before slowing down again. Now as the defender is getting set again, still going this way, he now sharply takes it against his momentum. But notice, after the step over, he also touches it down the line with his instep before going back inside. This small touch makes all the difference. It's a touch, plant, go, which leaves the defender so confused as Modric has already baited 2 ways before cutting inside. Whereas on the previous clip, there is no skill before the simple cut inside, meaning the defender had no control. This is invaluable knowledge for any ballers or coaches watching this. We just seen 2 cut insides, one that partially worked and one that was devastating. If you can add some subtle fake shots, step overs or body feints before you go inside, you're making life much easier for you and harder for the defender, opposed to just approaching the defender and then cutting inside. Now, after he cuts inside, he has a free shot on goal, which he uses as bait, paused. As his leg is all the way back, look at that extension. However, clever from the defender, he stretches to block but doesn't hit the ground. He keeps his left knee low to block off the shot through the legs. but he doesn't let it touch the ground. And now he quickly readjusts, and Modric tries to go with the outside of his foot, but the keeper saves it. Now we have 4 clips from Tchouameni versus Kaminga. Here is the first one. We see he rolls the ball into an immediate hot body feint. Just as Kaminga comes into the screen, we see he's trying to show Tchouameni down this way as he's facing side on, facing this way. He now rolls it against Kamavinga's hips. The roll turns Kamavinga square, and the hot body feint actually makes him start to run the opposite way. Now into an immediate fake shot, stuttering his feet. To mimic that, he's adjusting for the shot. Paused. As he's knocking the ball forward, we see Kamavinga is going for the block. And then an amazing lace near post finish. This clip also shows how you can start thinking about 1v1s in and around the box. Tchouameni doesn't beat Kamavinga clean. He just gets enough room for the shot. This second goal is crazy. Paused. At the start, this angle of approach is so hard to defend. He's directly attacking here. In slow motion, we can see how Kamavinga is moving back this way. As he can't stay central, he needs to be more on one side, showing Tchouameni down one side. As Kamavinga goes this way, he does the reverse elastico. That first touch is mimicking a touch here, which is against Kamavinga's momentum, who is backing off this way. A big touch into space, a stretch touch to stay ahead, and then this dink. Paused. As he's about to shoot, we see the keeper was even caught off guard. The near post is so open, and he's coming across. So he knows the keeper will spread to block this off, meaning there will be room for the dink. Now, the third one. Kamavinga now using the space and being more patient, backing off more. Of course, this comes at a risk, as Tchouameni is getting closer and closer to the goal. Both other times, we see Kamavinga is holding his ground. So now this shows his intelligence. As he's been destroyed twice in a row, he's switching up his defensive style, and we see Tchouameni ends up overcomplicating it, beating himself. And finally, this one, Kamavinga getting in a block. Again, we see this time he cuts inside with little to no skill beforehand, making it easier as Kamavinga is more set. Now 3 1v1s from Asensio. A perfect example of how we can use it to our advantage if a defender keeps backing off and doesn't want to engage in and around the box. He cuts inside and drives with the ball, getting the defender to pick up speed before doing a fake shot, now facing up the defender who isn't engaging. He touches the ball this way, creating more and more space the opposite way. He then sharply cuts inside and then finishes in the blink of an eye. But as he's moving the ball this way, we see he's throwing little fakes with his left foot. This is mentally fatiguing for the defender, and it allows Asensio to have the split-second free for a simple finish. On the second 1v1, we see really good defending. One thing we notice is Asensio keeps the same tempo throughout and also ends up getting too close to the defender. We see he's initially taking the ball down the line again before cutting inside. Now he takes the ball back out wide with this small touch, then jumps his right leg across to mimic a burst inside, and then we see this snap touch back out wide as the defender is turning his hips the other way. But the touch is too light, so he doesn't take advantage of the defender's momentum. If this snap was a heavier touch, he'd have a sight of goal for a shot, but now he's boxed himself in as he's too close to the defender. Lastly, what a goal this one is. Starting the attack at pace down this way before chopping against the defender's hips. We see as Asensio was initially driving down the line, the defender's legs were crossing over to get ready to run down the line. Now, as the defender chases, he chops the ball back, stopping it, before taking the defender across one way with these small touches, as he likes to do, throwing in a step over to mimic a touch inside. And we see how this turns the defender's hips. After the step over, he stutters, slowing right down, and does a reverse elastico. The first touch, which mimics a touch inside, makes the defender's hips turn square. Now into a stretch touch to avoid the tackle, and an incredible finish out of nowhere, which the keeper didn't see coming with the outside of his foot. So as we see, different players have different dribbling styles. Asensio loves to drag the defender over to one side and then either bait back the other way or go back into that space that he's created for himself by dragging the defender over with him. By the way, if you've picked up any small details that you feel will improve your game or coaching here, this is not even 1% of the details you'll find in our dribbling programs. I'll put the link into the description below so you can check those out along with the reviews as well. Now 5 1v1s, Valverde versus Alaba. Again here we see a different dribbling approach. Paused a really good angle of approach as Alaba is showing him down one way. A body feint into the space and a fake shot touching it inside before then going back out and the shot is blocked. Amazing defending. If you notice here, as Alaba is blocking the first shot, I want you defenders to notice how he stays facing side on. Instead of planting his feet and turning, he shuffles backwards towards his own goal and then backwards to keep showing Valverde down the line. He doesn't turn his hips. The second 1v1 and Valverde scores. Again, a great angle of approach as he can go both ways. He now touches the ball with each stride. On the third touch, being a stretch, keeping the advantage. Running more and more wide and then as a split second free to shoot across the keeper. This shows us sometimes we don't need to overcomplicate it. Again, we don't need to cleanly beat the defender. We just need enough room for the shot. The third 1v1, the same tactic, but this time saved. The same angle of approach, a small body feint, mimicking a touch out wide, and then goes the opposite way. The fourth 1v1, another goal, and again keeping it simple. Simply delaying with small sharp steps, having the defender on high alert, and a big touch to the side to finish near post. And the last one, another goal with such a simple approach. Initially going inside, then this small touch out wide, followed by a body feint the same way, into a diagonal touch forwards. Defenders, let me know in the comments what you think Alaba could have done differently in any of these clips, or if you think it was just good dribbling from Valverde. And finally, 2 1v1s with Hazard. The first one, getting a shot off, that was saved. Initially touching the ball down the line with his instep, which allows him to keep his hips open to then escape inside. This touch with his instep is dragging the defender this way. Now, as he cuts inside, he immediately slows down again. Most other players kept running and doing a fake shot. Again, touching it with his instep with a deadly angle of approach into a subtle hot body feint down here. And going inside, straight into a fake shot. Now, as he does a fake shot, the defender is turning around to block off a potential touch against his momentum. Hazard simply immediately touches it back out wide for a free shot, which is saved. Lastly, we see this amazing goal. As Hazard is approaching the line, he's in trouble of being pressed hard. So we see this aggressive body feint which slows the defender down and allows Hazard to face him up. Again, touching it down the line with his instep, but his hips open. In slow motion, as the defender goes to plant, Hazard scoops it not directly down the line, but on this angle, right towards the edge of the pitch to draw the defender in here for his favourite skill, the cut across. And we can see just how chill he is, smiling as he's doing it. Now a brilliant dink. Swinging his leg right back, mimicking a powerful shot, and then dinking it just over that trailing arm. There we have it. Hopefully you've taken a lot from this video, and it's always so interesting to see these 1v1 drills. But one thing that's really important to highlight, these 1v1 drills we're watching, they're not 100% game realistic. For example, I had a player reach out to me saying that they're great in 1v1 drills in training, but when it comes to the game, they find it way more difficult. And this is because in a game of football, you're never technically 1v1. For example, if we do see a winger out wide with a fullback, isolated position, we would label that as a 1v1. However, the man on the ball has other options to bait. He can cut inside and cross the ball to his teammates in the box. Having other players on the pitch, even if they're not close to you, still affects the defender's psychology who you're dribbling against. But in these training 1v1 drills, you have way less to bait. As we see in these players here, they only have a shot to bait. In game, they may also have a player making an overlap run where they can bait that pass as well. And they'll have plenty of other options / passes that they can also bait. So yes, it's really important you get good at these in training because that's how you also get into the team. But just keep in mind, they're not 100% realistic because you don't have options to bait that you might do in a game. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped. Let me know in the comments what you took from this. And don't forget to drop a like. If you're seriously looking to enhance your game, don't forget to click the link in our bio, which will take you to our website. But most of all, keep chasing your potential.